Their backs are against the wall. Ostojiy has picked Shakur's Plateau, a map that's generally been safe for ZVZ in terms of expansions. But as a result, there's lots of metagame mines, or a lot of metagame mind games. Oh my god, I can't even think.
Meta mind games.
Meta mind games.
Let's do that.
That's like a tongue twister, Andre.
Meta mind games.
Meta mind games.
I completely agree. Let's go ahead and introduce the players. Bottom right-hand position, we have the orange Zerg, Gosu Ostojiy from Team It's Gosu. Top left-hand position, in one of the most frustrating colors.
Yeah, seriously. Playing purple as a Zerg is just like, man, I can't. Like, because you just sometimes miss, like, that one Zergling that's running across the scout, and you're like, you can't tell because your creep's purple, and their creep's purple.
But it is Scarlett, of course.
It is Scarlett.
She's the one that is spawning up here. Do you know who else likes to be purple Zerg?
Chef.
Chef.
I know, Chef likes to do it as well.
And I was talking to him.
And you know what's so funny? Actually, yeah, what we were talking about.
We're probably talking about the same story.
That
we're in the car together.
Trolls?
Yeah.
Scarlett's a troll as well. I heard Scarlett's like a huge troll online. It's really funny. But what were you talking about, Chef?
Well, I was in the car with him just talking. I was like, Chef, you have to find a new color, bro. It is the most annoying thing in the world. And he goes, that's why I picked it. He's like, Chef. For all those people, although he didn't say people, he's too much of a mana bearer, but for all those people that don't use the Alt-F, which actually changes your color from whatever color it is to green, your opponent to red.
Yeah, green-red.
You know, purple on purple is really difficult to see, and he takes advantage of that.
I know, right? It's just
so BM.
Chef is like, not my color, not my problem. That's what's so funny about him. So.
But
Scarlett is going for a pretty standard opening pool hatchery as well as Ostojiy. This is pretty much as safe as you can get. Now, gas timing is really key. You can see Ostojiy grabs it at 17, giving him the pretty standard timing. He wants to get link speed out a little bit earlier. And then you see that Scarlett grabs it on 18 instead, just squeezing out an extra drone and playing a little bit more defensive. And that's kind of what Scarlett's been doing. She's been trying to be the one defensive. Ostojiy's been putting on aggression both games, and I think she's expecting more aggression from Ostojiy.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think Scarlett is actually misreading some of the timings where Ostojiy is going to be aggressive because she's putting up spine crawlers when he's not attacking, and then she kind of like macros after the spine crawlers when he is attacking. That's a little bit weird. What you want to obviously do is invest in your economy first and then invest in all your spine crawlers afterwards. So it is a little bit interesting. Scarlett needs to just better prepare herself for all these situations.
You can see that Shakur's Plateau is a map where attacking up the ramp is just incredibly difficult, just almost impossible. If you get 3 spines up and you have queens really blocking it, there's almost no way to really bust that ramp, especially for mid-game roaches. And as a result, infestors become really empowered on this map. But then, as soon as you leave that natural open, all of a sudden, everything changes. There's lots of open spaces, places you can flank from 4 or 5 different directions. And it just becomes a huge different thing past 2 bases. Of course, it took a while for the metagame to eventually shift that expanding can be safe, but you can see that, again, Ostojiy placing down a pretty early building nest compared to Scarlett, getting it out a little bit earlier, and that's pretty much just been aligning with the gas timings.
Yeah, it's important to note, I mean, you said it perfectly, but another thing to note is that once you get out into the middle of the field, the aggressor has the advantage, I feel. It's very rare that, you know, you can accurately defend against everything because, think about it, if I move all my units over here, all of a sudden your units from over here are going to clump up in this position. I can fungal growth you. If I move to the other side, then all your units are going to be doing the same thing. It's very hard to position your units perfectly and not be susceptible to fungal growth clumps. So I'm interested, I mean, who's the one that's going to take the aggressive advantage in this game?
Yeah, and you can see that that Scarlett is putting up that spine call at a much better timing. Ostojiy does have those slow Zerglings coming out. Speed's about to finish. 4 banelings to 6 banelings there from Ostojiy, just morphing a few more just at the bottom of the ramp. Ostojiy pokes up, sees the timing of that spine crawler, sees that it's about finished as well.
Oh no, Ostojiy is going to lose so many Zerglings here to a couple of banelings, really messing up his play. And from there, I mean, I don't think this is very ill-fated. I don't think he can actually do this because everything's in perfect position. Going to trade a couple of banelings, but I don't think this is right. I mean, he just has Zerglings against Queens, Spine Crawlers, and Zergling Baneling. This is not going to work out. Ostojiy probably needs to stop this, but he's continuing on with this, giving Scarlett an even bigger advantage because from here, I think she can actually drone up. Unfortunately, she's going for Zerglings and Banelings here, but this is a perfect time to say, okay, I'm good. I can defend this perfectly. Let me go ahead and drone up. I'm okay.
You can see that Ostojiy is, ooh, wow, Ostojiy trying to get these two Banelings to detonate onto the rest of the Banelings, but yeah, it's not going to work out over here. You can see that Ostojiy is backing off right now, getting a higher drone count. Again, Scarlett rushing for that lair significantly faster than her opponent because she's been able to get these gases a lot earlier.
Yes.
And you can see that Ostojiy now also trying to catch up in terms of getting out just the amount of drones. You can see Scarlett's been able to sit back and drone, and now Ostojiy's finally pulling into his opponent.
Scarlett should feel pretty comfortable in this position. She's still getting a lot of Spine Crawlers. Now, something to note, Frodan, that we haven't seen the first two games, getting this many Spine Crawlers is normally indicative of mutas, but she showed something very different the first two games. Now, it is Shakur's Plateau. In Tal'Darim Altar and in Antigua Shepherd, it's a little bit easier to take your third base, as we were talking about, just because of the openness. So she might actually be forced, or she might be more inclined to go for Spire Tech rather than to go for the regular Infestor Tech that we've been seeing so many times. And there it is, Spire drops immediately.
You can see this Spire, again, Mutas is actually not bad in terms of being able to poke in and out, because the way the base layouts is that you can kind of poke and really make sure to avoid a lot of damage. There's lots of dead airspace in the bottom right corner as well from Ostojiy's base. So the choice of mutas is not poor at all. The question is, how many mutas will Scarlett really commit to? A lot of Zerg sometimes use mutas. Ooh, nice little space trade there for Scarlett, trading just a couple of Zerglings. But the question is, Andre, how many mutas will be made? Because if only a few mutas, then Ostojiy might overreact. But if you make a lot of mutas, it can snowball way out of control.
Correct. Ostojiy, I think, it's a really tough place for him to be, because I don't even think he has the material that allows him to know that this is going to be some sort of muta play. He's going to retreat from here. Very nicely done by Ostojiy, in my opinion, and he's just going to let his Banelings do the work. You can see the Zerglings just scattering backwards. Scarlett going to take a third base. I love this because she's anticipating the mass amount of mutas coming out here. And with that, she instantly claims map control. Ostojiy still in the dark about that Spire Tech. Doesn't even have a relative timing to know when that Spire Tech, or if a layer is even up. And he's just going to push out here. This push is actually meant to quote-unquote defend against mutas, I would say, because you're counting on your opponent to overreact to this and actually make a ton of units, but that's obviously not going to happen. I think that was even not the best fake, since 5 Spine Crawlers are already up and he already forced that many Spine Crawlers. So right now, Ostojiy, I think he's just super far behind, and Scarlett is going to do a lot of damage with these mutas.
Third base for Scarlett, but that's kind of what you do with mutas. You get map control, you expand a lot faster than your opponent. The only thing is, again, you use a lot of gas investment. Currently 10 mutas on the way and 2 more. Sometimes Zergs make like 6 to 8. We saw Sen do that a lot in NASL. Makes like 6 to 8, then switch out to something else, and then just like have a huge Roach army and Infestor army waiting for their inevitable push. Because the big thing is that, yeah, mutas are great at harassing. They can really pick off things, but they don't have a lot of huge fight integrity. Like, they can't actually confront that much. And so Ostojiy is just pretty much trying to play really strong defense, has a lot of queens out, trying to bait them into the spores, and followed up by a huge aggression, though, from Scarlett.
And he's looking to just take out those queens. A very nice job done by Ostojiy, actually, just making sure that those queens just don't get tanked out. And just like that, Scarlett has to retreat. But look at that. Normally, Muta, Zergling, Baneling, you do not have the economic advantage. You do not have, or no, you do have the economic advantage, but you do not have the supply advantage. 116 to 90. Ostojiy is so far behind. And there is a timing with queens and roaches that you can hit right when the mutas are, I guess, pushed out.
Andre, there's a lot of overlords that are misrallied.
Yeah, that's not good.
And that's 600 minerals right there and 6 larvae that Ostojiy will lose, and he's going to be heavily supply blocked because of it.
Yeah, and now Scarlett is taking a 4th base, just adding insult to injury. She's just so far ahead in this game. Ostojiy, he needs a miracle at this point. He needs to fungal down all of those mutas if you want to get back into this. And then probably, I wanted to say push before infestors are out, but I don't even think that's possible. I don't think he can actually get his queens all the way over across the map in time, so those infestors don't do nearly as much damage.
Well, you can see that Ostojiy does have a significant amount of queens pushing out here, but Ostojiy doesn't have like a huge amount of ground army. He's got 12 roaches, and that's not intimidating whatsoever, especially since Scarlett has a huge amount of production. She's got 3 bases, now moving on to her 4th base, and even spreading creep amongst her bases so she can be anywhere at any time. Oh, so you're trying to go for that 3rd base, but Scarlett will try to force a cancel, might even just try to have the mutas dive and do some damage, but no, sees the infestors and queens as well, and one fungal could change the entire outcome of the battle.
Yes, it can, and he needs to, oh, there it is, the big fungal on top of the mutas. He can get chain fungals going down. The banelings need to be fungled as well. I don't know if they are going to be picked off, but very nicely done. Infested Terran going to pop out here. No more fungals to actually keep those mutas in place. That'll be very difficult actually catching up. The Infested Terrans are not able to join the battle.
Yeah.
And look at that, Ostojiy will lose out this fight. Those mutas are very, very badly injured. He has to be careful. In the meantime, a couple of Zerglings went into the natural and were able to do a lot of, into the natural and the main. Damn you, purple on creep.
It's just too much damage. I mean, oh, look at that. I mean, Scarlett's going to lose her mutas, but too much economic damage has been dealt. Just even the Overseer picking off the infestors, these are so critical. And Ostojiy's supply is so poor, mainly because he's got 37 workers to 71, Andre.
Oh,
and that's
just
way, way too big of an advantage for Scarlett. She's almost doubling the count of economy, and Ostojiy has really no real tech behind this other than the infestors. And we see the Greater Spire is about to finish for Scarlett.
Yeah, Scarlett can basically do anything she wants, and she's making the right move. Ostojiy just so far behind. Now Zergling's getting in here. Roaches are going to just stop their movement in their tracks, but still, I mean, Scarlett, like, she has complete map control. She has her creep spread all the way over, which doesn't really matter normally, but for Zergling Baneling against any form of ground units, it's actually a lot better that you get that creep spread. As we were talking about, Scarlett was the one being aggressive after 2 bases, and she's the one getting paid off substantially.
And you could see that 42 Lings and Broodlords are on the way. Now, Broodlords are kind of used sparingly throughout the matchup because, again, if you make too many, then Corrupt just can come wipe it out. But the big thing is that Scarlett knows that his opponent's been on low tech this entire time.
Yeah.
Spire not even dropped, so there's almost no real anti-air answer other than, I guess, Fungals and Infested Terrans. But even then, they don't have that strong of a count or upgrade base to really threaten those Broodlords. So Scarlett's just going to use these Broodlords to siege and break his opponent. And Ostojiy does not know what to do with it, man.
He is not happy. That is that's a very awkward face, first off. But Ostojiy has no, as you said, no response to this Broodlord attack. And look at this, he's going to go in for one last attack, but the swarms of units are going to come down onto Ostojiy's face. And
GG.
Scarlett takes it 2-1, ladies and gentlemen. And she will push further into the winner's bracket of the WCS Canada. Really impressive, in my opinion. Really, really impressive play by her. And she's yet again proving why she is the top North American and top Canadian, taking out Huck 2-0 and now Ostojiy 2-1.
Yeah, and now Scarlett moves on to round 4. So that was the round of 8, actually. And now this goes to the top 4, I believe. Yes, 16. And then that was round of 8, and now to the round of 4. So that was a really great job by Scarlett to be able to move on. ZVZ is not an easy matchup. Ostojiy says that ZVZ is one of his best matchups. So it was well done, and I think she deserved the win.
Definitely. And I think we're just going to take a short break right now, and we're going to be back with another matchup where we'll
find out what happens next.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for more action from WCS, guys. This is Frodan and Gretorp signing out.